Alright, how's it going, everyone? Gonna go over the general stock market tonight. Just did a Canadian MJ video if you want to check that out. That's the space that I mostly trade. And if you do enjoy my videos, please do subscribe to the channel. I try to push out valuable content on a daily basis. Now, with that being said, let's get into the S&P 500. Again, nothing has changed since my last video. If this is your first time stopping by, I typically do the S&P, a few of the FANG stocks, and natural gas, oil. I'm going to throw in AMD there tonight, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, S&P daily time frame, daily uptrend still intact. No red flags at this point. Sort of an indecision. Okay, that's really not a helpful candle. Yes, we did see follow through today, but upper wick indicates selling. Not a big upper wick, but next big resistance is 280. You know, been saying it for a while. That's just the next resistance level. And on the weekly time frame, as of now, we have just set a lower high compared to 280. Huge recovery, but again, like I said, just a lower high until we break 280. So urge caution, but the daily uptrend is still intact. So Apple. Ooh. Oh, it's tight. We didn't see some. Okay, so we're gonna zoom to the daily. Okay, kind of a daily bull flag, but I'm gonna zoom into the hourly to get a better picture. We did have that hourly bull break, but look, there is no follow through. So here's the low of consolidation, right? Kind of an hourly equilibrium. Lower high, higher low, boom, higher high. I mean, yes, we have held this. We got to hold this level right here, 169.25 on the hourly time frame, 169.92. So currently we have held that low, but bulls really got to show up tomorrow. We did not have a good day today for Apple. But in the big picture with Apple, I am happy because we did break this daily downtrend and we're in a daily uptrend now. So I just want to zoom out to the weekly. Okay, and I mean, oh, this was nice. So I do have a buddy that's a very fundamental investor. He's a long-term investor, and he's a big Apple guy, owns a lot of Apple stock. And I remember when we were talking about it, probably mid-December, I noted how weak I just remember looking at the weekly time frame and saw how weak it, on the weekly time frame it was oversold. So that's a big deal. We got a nice bounce. This could be the extent of the oversold weekly bounce. That being said, obviously we have broken the long weekly uptrend. Just something to keep in mind. Just something to keep in mind. Obviously, if bulls, keep on buying. So we had a nice. In order for the bulls to change this trend back to bullish on the weekly time frame, we need to consolidate, form a higher low relative to this low down here, right? So we had a nice run up. We need to form that higher low and then continue to higher highs. That will change the weekly trend, and that will steer me full bull for the foreseeable short future. Now on the daily time frame, I am confident in the bulls. We have a daily uptrend. Until that uptrend is lost, there are no red flags. Facebook. Same type of deal as Apple. We did break this daily downtrend into a daily uptrend, and it looks like we're breaking bearish on that key level that I was looking at. So on the hourly time frame, I was just looking after this big gap up. I was looking at these two levels, about 172, and then all the way down here about 164. Kind of have a triple top here at 172. And whichever one of these two levels breaks first is the short-term direction I will be looking. So it looks like we're about to break bearish. I believe we did break this candle, 163.72, 160. Wow, held it by 3 pennies. Definitely something to keep an eye on, guys. If that level breaks, we got a big gap to fill. So keep that in mind. And again, that's on the shorter term. In the longer term, on the daily time frame, I would expect a higher low to form and continue to higher highs. Amazon, said it many times. I might even stop charting Amazon just because I don't like the way it's been trading. A lot of sideways, ugly action. It's just not favorable trading in my opinion. So I'm gonna kind of leave it out there and yeah, obviously next resistance is all the way up here at 1778. NFLX. Oh, rejected from the cup and handle. Shoot. I was hoping this was going to have a nice run up. Just going to zoom in. So the cup and handle, here's the cup and this is the handle. And typically on these patterns, once you break that line, that key, and it's a clear level. My mouse is on it right now. If we broke that, it would be a clear breakthrough and we would look for a significant follow through. Clear rejection today. That's interesting. Something to note, obviously, if we break below 338, that's a red flag. That's the next higher low on the daily time frame. Man, that's a bummer. Gold. Gold's still bull flagging it. You know, these commodities take some time to play out. So anything over 1277 is really a higher low. So it could take a few days or a couple weeks for this to really round out and keep on going. If it's going to keep on going. Let's just zoom into the 4-hour with gold. Yeah, we're kind of getting tight on the 4-hour time frame. Here's a low that we'd have to hold. Higher low, lower high. We kind of poked through that lower high, but obviously zero follow through. Yeah, kind of going sideways. Not really clear, but I would anticipate a higher move up at some point. Oil, I'm also watching oil, and okay, so we saw some more upside today. Ultimately, we do have to continue past 55.73 for this daily uptrend to stay intact. So we briefly broke over this key resistance all the way back here. Briefly broke over it. I hope we do not see that as resistance now. I'm going to zoom onto the weekly time frame. So here's that resistance. So we did break it. Looks like we're coming down a bit. If anything, we have to form a higher low on the weekly time frame in relation to the low of the dump, and then continue to higher highs for a weekly trend change to ensue, and for me to get very confident in oil. Natural gas, zoom out to the daily, and we're getting pretty low. Wow. Okay, so last time we looked at this, we were looking at the 4-hour time frame. And this actually held. Interesting. So I noted how we barely broke that resistance level in the 4-hour time frame, but zero follow through. We came all the way back down to this low down here. If we break that low, we're going to see more downside. And again, on the shorter term, if we do break above here, let's see, 273, I would say that's bullish. So if we bounce up, break that resistance level, because that's just a lower high on the 4-hour time frame, I'd be looking bullish, and ultimately we'd have to break 2.78. That's this peak right here. And if that happens, we will change the 4-hour trend, and I will look to get in a natural gas position. Litecoin, obviously, if you follow Dan's videos, he did cover the weekly trend change in Litecoin, so I will probably start scooping some positions. Obviously, we're seeing some more downside, but we have to hold. Ooh, wow, getting out there. We cannot go below 29.76. That's the key level to hold. Okay, last but not least, AMD. So I had a viewer request AMD, and we're going to get into it. So I'm on the weekly time frame. Now this is an interesting weekly chart because obviously we had this insane run up, right? Then we came down. Here's the low from the dump on the weekly time frame. Kind of choppy sideways action. Boom, we form a high. Really, there's our high. There's our higher low. Higher high, then we come all the way back down, break that brief weekly uptrend, and we have a double bottom at the low of that candlestick. So we have a double bottom all the way up and break past this resistance, which is good, and now we are consolidating on the weekly time frame. Good thing is that look at the last week's bear volume is not as big as the previous week's bull volume. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to see declining bear volume on consolidation. So if all goes well, best case scenario, we consolidate, form a higher low, and then continue to higher highs. We'd have to break the high of 25.14 for that to happen. But on the daily time frame, and this is choppy. This is really ugly right around here. I don't really like this because we did come back down and ultimately break this candlestick, which I would have liked to held, but we did hold this level down here. So then we bounced up, sideways action, and then boom, another leg up. We cannot go down past, I would say, 1905. If we go down past 1905, I would say bulls are in trouble. The good news is, and again, this is shown on the weekly time frame, that we did break this previous high. But just barely. We didn't get too much follow through, so I would stay cautious. And that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you did find this video enjoyable and informative, please consider subscribing to my channel, and have a good night.